You feel this nervousness on the phone there?
Sir, I've been trying to make an urgent phone call up there.
Well, I don't think it's something I want to do on an overseas phone.
You gotta make some phone calls. Hang up the phone. Prank caller.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Packernet After Dark. This is the call-in show, the Packernet Podcast Network. If you'd like to tune in, if you'd like to participate in the show, if you want to call in, please feel free to do so. The phone number here is 608-501-0718. New callers go directly to the front of the line. We don't have any new callers today, but we got Nico, so let's see what he's talking about.
Ryan, how the heck are you doing? This is Nico.
What's up?
Just out driving around on my day off, getting the wifey and old Dutch brothers.
Dang.
About the whole backup QB situation, I see a lot of people talking about flipping them already, which I get it. That's part of the NFL. We did it to Douglas, done it to other players in the past. That's kind of what I was hoping for, that Clifford and Pratt would become. Like, it would look like we had two competent backups, and we could afford to, get a third or a fourth round out of one of them. Well, maybe out of Pratt, because I think Clifford was already a third or fourth round. And then those guys, that just didn't happen. And then I was really surprised. Clifford just kind of looked bad, and then I thought Pratt was better, and they got rid of him. Oh, well, who knows? I'm not that smart. But, and yeah, someone offers us a first for Malik, you got to do it. But the thing that I am kind of like, hey, getting a good backup quarterback is really not that easy. Look, we haven't had one since Flynn. And let's face it, Flynn looked good, super good one game and got paid, from the Sea Chickens. And then look what happened there, nothing. I mean, of course, he, went to where Russell Wilson got picked. And it's funny, he was on Wildy and Couch last week or so. And even Wildy made a comment, I'm sure you've, made peace with that about Russell Wilson started over. And he said, no, I haven't. So look, let's go back in time. Hey, Matty, stay in Green Bay. Maybe don't get $50 million, but you'll get that eventually because you'll be a backup for like 10 years. And who knows, maybe in those times when Rodgers was out a game or two, it would have really helped to have Flynn in there, and it would have, instead of being a seventh round, playoff or eighth seed being out, maybe we would have been a second or first. You never know. And maybe you could have got a Super Bowl out of it. And yeah, it would have been as a backup, but he still would have been an integral part. It's like, if we could keep Malik and he could, especially with there being more games, and everyone being injured all of a sudden, like a fly bumps in your forehead and you get hurt. If we could just keep him, I'd be like, hey, Malik, stay here for 10 years. You're probably going to get a Super Bowl out of it, even as a backup, but you'll be important. Maybe you're not going to make the $40 million a year, but you'll make 15, 20, and heck, you'll make that much money a lot longer. So I don't know. I'd like to keep him if we can, but I get it. Someone throws a first rounder. That's hard to say no, but I don't see that happening. But anyways, go Pack Go. Food for thought, and let's check out them Vikings. Give me some stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I touched on it pretty heavily already. I know you called in prior to probably, but my stance generally is keep him until his contract runs out and then flip him. The risk there is that, again, you see him in preseason or he has to come in some other time and things just don't go well and then the value plummets again and there goes, your window. This is probably the highest value you're ever going to get for Malik right now because the idea that he's ever going to play this good of football again, nobody plays this good of football. He missed basically no passes. He completed every pass that he tried to make. He also destroyed people on the ground. It's impossible. So the best thing that could ever happen is the Packers have him as a backup. They never bring him out, even for the preseason, ever again. And they're just like, we're just preserving him because he's so good we don't want him to get hurt ever. And then once it's done, we flip him. But either way, that would be my preference. I think no matter what, he is the best option that we have. The idea that we could afford to pay him to stay as a backup, I don't think is possible. I think even sort of like, if a quarterback is starting, even if he's a bad quarterback, he's going to be making bank. If you bring in Malik to be your starting quarterback, let me look at a couple examples here. Gardner Minshew, maybe. he got $12.5 million, something like that. But then you even get like Baker was $33 million. I mean, there's I don't know. I don't know. Like Sam Darnold was a backup and got $10 million. I'm guessing Gardner Minshew's a backup. So these are backups. If maybe that is the thing is he gets brought in as a backup for that amount of money, like a guy that we legitimately think. I don't know. But like, what would the lowest salary be for a guy that's actually going to start or presume to start? I have to assume it's at least 20. Either way, the Packers are not paying that. There's no way, even 10 million, the Sam Darnold price. I shocked the Vikings did. I can't imagine the Packers saying, yeah, let's do, and that was just a 1-year deal, granted, and I think the idea, well, actually, you know what, he was going to be a starter because they were going to sit JJ. But it was a 1-year whatever, I don't know. Packers are not paying that, is the bottom line. So, again, keep him as long as he's cheap, and you can pay him cheap backup quarterback rookie deal money. And then when somebody out there says, I'll give you 10 or 15 or 20 or 30 or something crazy, then we say, yeah, that's okay. We're done. But I guess that maybe that'll be a debate later on when we find out what the market price would be for him. I'm sure a lot of people would say just pay it. I probably would not be one of them, but a lot of people would say just do it because we need to. And then also complain that, why aren't you doing all this stuff in free agency? Because we spent $15 million on a backup quarterback, you jag off. He's like the third or fourth highest paid guy on our team right now, and he doesn't play. That's why we have no money. Anyways, sorry. Nico, go ahead.
And this is Nico again. So, yeah, you're talking about Caleb. I comment on a lot of Bears, people online, and
Sure.
So I see a lot of it. It's hard not to comment because, like you just mentioned, they were going overboard this summer how he's going to win a Super Bowl and be the offensive MVP and the rookie offensive MVP and the Super Bowl. I was like, dude, you guys got to let this pot cook, right? And, yeah, in 3 weeks, they are just befuddled. I start to feel sorry for them, but then I remember how they were in the offseason. I'm like, nope. You lost that card to get any sorrow when you started acting like he was, Superman. And here's the funny thing. After looking at Willis, because I think you could say Caleb Williams is probably more talented than Malik Willis, especially in throwing the ball and a decent runner. I think, obviously, I know Malik is lightning fast, but if Caleb Williams is on the Packers, he'd probably look really good. But that just goes to show you. It's all about the coaching. And I guess I'm saying all that to say this. Matt LaFleur, and I made a comment in the thing, in the live chat Sunday. The dude has, he won with Rodgers when the people said he couldn't.
Yep.
And then they said, well, he only won. Well, first of all, they said, you can't win with Rodgers because he's not going to do what you
the
say.
team
And then
sucked.
he did, to an extent.
Before
enough
him,
to get, 13-win seasons in a row. And then they said, well, he only won because of Rodgers. Like, that's not what you said
Right.
before, but whatever. And then, once Rodgers left, there was a little hiccup, but man, look what he turned Jordan Love into a $50 million quarterback. And now Malik Willis, he's making him look like maybe Carolina or the Raiders or some other crappy team will be like, hey, what you got going on there? How about a third, fourth, second, first round pick? So, and I know last year the Texans blew up out of nowhere, and I believe he deserved Coach of the Year. It's not about that. It's just about getting respect. When homeboy called him Matt LaF, I'm like, what do you know about him that no one does?
Right.
Like, how can you hate on a guy who's he seems overly nice. Now, he has gotten over his overnight stuff.
Yeah.
I know the Clayton's podcast, they call him Tupac LaFleur. That's kind of funny because he was Mr. Little Nice Boy in the first year,
Right.
post-game shows. Now he's like, get out of my plane.
Yeah, he's gone the other direction.
I freaking love it. But people got to start at least giving him some respect because he clearly is a good coach. And he's just doing I just freaking love Matt LaFleur. So, hey, you know what? Go Pack, go. 3 minutes is coming fast. And I don't know what else to say, but go Pack, go. Give me more about the Vikings.
I think that is a good point. I now that you mention it, I also kind of don't care as much about Coach of the Year. He should have won it by now. He didn't. That whole award thing is stupid anyways. It's people who don't know what the hell they're talking about voting on stuff and getting everything wrong all the time. So who cares? I think what matters is the Packers need to be rightly judged. And for way too long, I mean, it used to be, go back 2014 or so and before that, our head coach, Mike McCarthy, and Ted Thompson, the GM, were gushed over by the media. Ted Thompson was just a brilliant genius, and Mike McCarthy is one of the best, if not the best, coaches in the entire NFL. It hasn't been that way since. 2015, things took a weird turn, started to get a little rocky. Again, I think a lot of people just cast off the Packers. 2017, Rodgers gets hurt. 2018, the Packers look bad. 2019, they start to rebound, and it almost felt like everybody's just like, this is stupid. I don't want to do this again. I'm over it. I'm over Rodgers. I already threw him in the trash. I don't want to play this game anymore. And so it was this weird thing. And again, like a lot of people, and it's not just a random theory. I've played the audio on this podcast of people saying that, like they're sick of the Packers and they don't want to do it anymore. So they generally just did not want to accept it. And so even when it's being thrown in their face over and over and over again, it was kind of like, Plus, Rodgers is coming to an end, and then at that point, it's all over. So I'm not going to go all in and praise any of these people. I don't care. Then when Jordan does what he does, it's like, oh, dang, and then the team is successful, not because of Rodgers, clearly, because he's not there, so we can't use that excuse anymore. Then all of a sudden we have to look at, oh, dang, Jordan's good, so that's a credit to Matt LaFleur and Brian Gutekunst. And also look at these receivers who are playing well, which is a credit to Matt LaFleur and Brian Gutekunst. And look at the offense as a whole, and look at all this stuff that seems to be really working. And so I think now that we've kind of gotten past the point of, okay, there's no denying it anymore. Maybe this is me just being a little spoiled Packer fan here, but kind of want to get back to the old days. Do I want to hear the gushing? Yes, I do. I don't want to turn on TV and hear about how, Matt LaFleur's a decent coach, but he's not on the same tier as, and then they list off 10 coaches. No, Matt LaFleur is one of, if not the best head coaches in the entire NFL, one of the best offensive minds in the entire game, and Brian Gutekunst might be the best GM in all of football. That's the reality. And if you want to say that there's a couple at the top, that's fine. But that's where we are, and that's where we have been for kind of a long time. It's just been sort of denied, and it's annoying. Kevin O'Connell. People were gushing over him the day he walked in before he even did anything, and they love doing that. Now, it ends up being deserved because it looks like he's a really good head coach. It's stupid that they did it early, but also it just seems like they predetermine who they want to like and who they don't want to like, and it's really annoying. It's why they can't just flat out say Ryan Poles is a piece of crap GM, because that was the greatest GM hire in the history of the universe. And so it really just becomes a game of how quickly can we confirm or deny our priors. And so if we didn't like somebody and they're doing poorly, it takes 5 seconds for us to say, see, he's trash, goodbye, pfft, loser. If we really liked them, it's basically until they get fired. Justin Fields was a great quarterback until the Bears let him go. That was until the day they let him walk. Ryan Poles is going to be, even Bears fans, I played you, the Bears fans are already looking like, okay, you know what? I talked him up. I got excited about him. I pretended that I liked all his moves. I'm looking at it now. This dude is crap. Maybe they're not all there yet, but we're here almost. But again, and I'm not mad at Bears fans necessarily. I prefer any fan base that's rational and reasonable. But you know what? If you're a fan, that's fine. What excuse does the national media have? Is it really that hard to say, I think he's going to be good, and then when it's not going well, to just immediately say, I still have faith in him, but this is really going poorly, rather than just lying? Which again, I'm talking about the Bears, but it's the whole thing. It shouldn't have taken all of this for Matt LaFleur and Brian Gutekunst to get credit. It's been obvious since day one. The turnaround that Brian Gutekunst did, and Matt LaFleur, by the way, in 1 year, where the Packers in 2018 were basically done, cooked, over. It was done. Aaron Rodgers could not bring that thing back to life. It sucked. Everything sucked. Brian Gutekunst tore that down, got rid of everybody, brought in a whole bunch of people, went crazy in free agency. Brought in just amazing talent. Matt LaFleur made the whole thing come together and work. Nobody gave a crap. Nobody liked him. 1 year later, Number one offense in football. Aaron Rodgers has one of his best years ever in his entire career and wins MVP. And just like you said, what do? They say it's all because of Rodgers and nobody else gets credit. 2021, they give him the MVP again. He didn't deserve it. He was a good quarterback. He wasn't the best quarterback by really, I think, any metric. But he's dragging around the dead weight, and he's Aaron Rodgers, so let's give it to him. And then when 2022, everything struggled, it's like, see, they suck. It's just crap. I mean, when Rodgers doesn't play well, look how bad this team is. And they were loving it. And then even last year, good football team. And it was, for a while, it was like, oh, this is kind of impressive. And all it took was an off season of no football playing for them to just forget it happened. They forgot it. Like, yeah, well, they didn't show up against the San Francisco and all. They look at, Jordan didn't look good except for like 5 games. The number kept getting smaller. They keep pushing toward what they want to be true, and I'm freaking sick of it. And so we're watching as the Packers are doing what they've been doing since 2019, and everyone's going, wow, I can't believe how good they are. Yeah, exactly. It's been on display for 5 years, and it took something this drastic for you to finally go, wow, you know what? Maybe. You know what? No. Screw you, dude. Screw you. Freaking jag off. All right, let's take a break. Only did 2 calls, but that took a long time. Let's take a break. We'll come back and hear from Garrett.
Hey, Ryan, it's Garrett from Southern Illinois.
Shit.
So it's Victory Monday, and I know you skipped my calls. I will not take that personal whatsoever. I get
sorry.
But what I had called in about, just to summarize, I had predicted that they were going to win by double digits. And the reason why was because I really thought that another week of Malik practicing, that was really going to open up the passing game a little bit more. And every week that he gets more live reps, I think you'll see a little bit more of LaFleur opening the playbook for him. So, yeah, I was pretty confident going into it. And I was totally surprised by the defense. That many sacks and turnovers at opportune times really was something to behold. It was just a beautiful sight. So
yep.
I would say that going into next week versus the Vikings, I really think that the only thing that still concerns me is the middle of that defense a little bit. Still saw Quay out of position a few times, but one thing that I wanted to highlight, Edgerrin Cooper comes in and Edgerrin Cooper makes a play. Dude, I want to see that guy in there as soon as possible.
Yeah.
As soon as possible. So I am really excited to see what he can do. So, but overall, I think the pressure really did start getting to Levis. I'm excited to see these guys maybe really break out because the first 2 weeks was very underwhelming. So I do want to give a little bit of props to LaFleur. I know that Rich Eisen was starting to really give him some more street cred for what he's been able to do last week, and this was before yesterday's game. He was just really, really propping him up on his coaching ability, and I think he truly is starting to get more and more noticed, and he's probably way overdue for him getting credit for what he does for this team. So good for him. Last thing, when one of the networks was showing all the different locker rooms and celebrations, speeches, and all that, when they got to the Packers, you truly saw just genuine excitement, genuine love for the game, genuine love for each other in the way that they responded. And in some of those locker rooms, if anything, the game for the Broncos, where you had all the steam in the locker room.
Continuing.
Part 2, real fast. One of the things I called in maybe a couple of months ago about was asking if you would at least take in consideration and analyze the defense, special teams, and offense for each game. How how much did they contribute to the win or the loss of each game? And if you want to go back and just kind of give them a vote, thumbs up or thumbs down for the Eagles game, I definitely would say there was more thumbs down for all three than anything. But the game where they won against Indianapolis, I would say is definitely a thumbs up for offense. Really kind of a push.
I think that's actually pretty easy to do because I think that's a pretty decent description of what EPA is. So I'll let you talk as I kind of pull that up.
For the other two. But yesterday, I would definitely give a huge thumbs up for the defense first, a thumbs up for the offense, and even a thumbs up for special teams. I really wanted that ball that we only kicked to land just maybe a yard shorter just so that they could pin it down inside the 3 again. What an incredible kick. But I just wondered what your thoughts were on that. Maybe each week could go in and just highlight who was, more responsible for winning each game because defense really carried the day yesterday. That pick six set the tone for the rest of the day. Otherwise, I think we were really for possibly a more ground and pound game against like we did with Indianapolis. So it just goes to show a turnover like that completely flips momentum. And I think the first 2 weeks they really missed out on the turnovers that they did get and not getting points in the red zone. Yesterday they did. They got points off of their turnovers. So good for them. Just wanted to see what you thought. I'm out.
So week one, obviously they didn't win, but if you're looking at who contributed to the win more, again, I think EPA per play is a pretty decent, actually EPA would be better overall, but they don't have that. Whatever, we'll use what we got here. EPA per play was plus 0.12 compared to 0 for the defense. Week two, so the offense was better than the defense. Week two, switch both of these over. The offense was given a negative 0.04, so slightly below average. The defense was negative 0.18, but remember, for defense, that's a positive. So the defense significantly higher. You could call it, 4 times, a little over 4 times more value. And then week three, the offense had plus 0.03, defense minus 0.43. So significantly more in the favor of defense than offense. So seems like aside from week one, which we lost, the defense has been way, way ahead of the offense, which probably isn't too far outside of what many people thought. It's probably more so, if anything. I wouldn't have expected it to be that much of a difference. But anyways, Aaron, what's going on?
Hello, Ryan.
Hello.
How's it going?
Good.
Good to hear that.
Yeah, thanks.
Unless you said bad, then.
No, I'm fine.
Good to hear that.
I'm fine.
Anyways, so this Packers game, man, that was something else, I tell you. When Love went down week one, I would not, like everyone else. If you would have told me that we were winning the next 2 games and then there's pretty much I want to say guarantee that Love was going to be back after those 2 wins. After seeing how Jordan was injured, I would not believe you. And probably nobody else would either. And you'd be sentenced to life with Michael Scott or Prison Mike in prison with some of the Dementors because you'd be crazy. But anyways, no, that game was crazy, man. Malik Willis lit it up. And sure enough, exactly what I predicted was going to happen is that after this game, there's fans that are legitimately saying, I'm not even rage bait and all, right? There are legitimately fans that want Malik Willis to start over Jordan Love. Yeah. And those are the people that belong in prison with Prison Mike suffering the Dementors because they're freaking crazy.
Yeah.
But it's just dude, yes, Malik has been playing out of his mind for what we were expected. But the difference between the level that Jordan Love has the ability to play at and what Malik Willis has shown us, like, I love Malik Willis. I am very thankful for what he has done. He is going to be a Packers legend for these 2 games. But to say that he should start over Jordan Love is absolutely ridiculous. Because, first of all, we just paid Jordan Love, and why would you bench Jordan Love? He's so freaking good when he can play. The only thing we've seen of him this year is one launch, like deep ball to Dontavian Wicks in the preseason, and him playing on a field that was basically an ice rink. And he still showed up. Like, and especially going into a divisional game against a team that is on top of the NFC right now, that is not showing any sort of, it's 3 minutes, that is not showing any sort of badness in their game, really. I'm just going to...
Yep, part 2, here we go.
There I was, hitting the 3-minute mark. Exactly as I predicted. Almost as if I'm thinking, or I can read a clock. Anyways, what I was saying is that we need Jordan Love to come back against the Vikings. Like, the Vikings are showing to be a legit team if they can hold it together, if they don't go full-on Minnesota Vikings right now. Like, they're showing to be a legitimate team. And as much as I love Malik Willis and what he's done over the last couple weeks, we played the Colts and the Titans, man. Like, it's not the Vikings. We need a quarterback like Jordan Love that can come in and just take over the game against a solid defense. And the fans that want Malik Willis to start are so delusional. Like, and I love Malik Willis. I am so happy for him. Like, I'm not saying anything bad against Malik Willis, but I'm just saying against an actual tough opponent that is within our division that we need to win, how could you possibly want Malik Willis over Jordan Love? I just don't get it. But anyways, enough of that. That game, like, that defense, man, honestly, yeah, sure, they give up a big play every now and then, and that's going to happen. That happened with Joe Barry. That happens no matter what defense you play. But the ferocity that every single person plays with on that defense, other than, like, maybe not to name names, Kenny Clark and Quay Walker, other than that, maybe, like, everybody plays with such an intensity, and pairing that intensity with playing with each other, with everyone's talent that they've gotten. Oh, man, I knew this offense was going to be good. Matt LaFleur is a genius, but this defense, if we can keep up the turnovers and the sacks, those are going to be fleeting every now and then. But, man, like, I'm so excited for this test of the Vikings coming up to see what we can do against Jefferson and it's weird to say Sam Darnold. But, man, this is going to be such a good game coming up. Anyways, I'm up on 3 minutes again, and I'm not going to call back. So, peace out. Bye-bye.
Yeah, and I said it before, but my biggest fear is, again, he was, and when I say perfect, I just mean, like, he didn't make a lot of mistakes, and obviously whenever we needed him, he showed up. And so people look at that and they basically say perfect, and that's going to be the standard in their mind. And Jordan Love is unlikely to reach that standard. He's not going to complete that high of a completion percentage because nobody in the NFL is doing that. And then on top of that, instead of these kind of crappy teams, as much as the Titans defense was praised and everything else, which I said was overhyped, and as much as the Colts defense was massively overhyped, the Vikings actually do have a very good defense. And again, a lot of people are speculating that maybe it is the best defense. And we went over we didn't. We will tomorrow go over some stats looking at the Packers, but obviously, occasionally just mentioning some other NFC North teams. And the Vikings are, at things like sacks and whatnot, they're at the top. Even with that 8-sack performance, the Vikings are ahead of the Packers. So even though I'm really not hearing anything seriously now, I do expect that there's going to be some bumps along the road. Not that I'm counting out the possibility that Matt LaFleur continues to be a wizard and the team continues to play at a high level and Jordan plays really well and we don't hear anything. I think there's a decent chance that there's going to be a little bit bumpy. People are going to say it looked better with Malik and all that's it's going to start. And I'm not going to like that very much, but it is what it is. I do think that there is a case to be made, though, that the offense was limited with Malik. And it was a very simplified offense, and it's going to be hard to win, especially against really good teams with a guy like Malik, because you're not able to do the things that you need to do, and you're not doing the things that Jordan can do. So, for example, if you look at some of the metrics, he's one of the best quarterbacks over the last 2 weeks. No doubt about it. Really incredible performance. Couple things that I want to point out that really seem to skew things. Air yards per attempt. Very self-explanatory stat. He ranks 23rd, meaning he didn't throw very far down the field. Now, you may remember me saying, well, I thought he had a really high deep percentage. That's true. He ranks 5th. So how does that make sense? Well, he ranks 5th with it being at 15.8%. So for the other 84% of the time, when he's not throwing it 20 yards down the field, what is he doing? Beyond that, deep percentage just means 20 yards or more. There's a difference between a 20-yard pass and a 60-yard pass. And so when you look at it as a whole, how far did the ball travel through the air each time he made an attempt? He was near the bottom. It's another metric if you go over to PFF. Again, PFF liked him. Not massively elite, but they had him as the 11th best overall quarterback through those 2 weeks, weeks 2 and 3. It's hilarious. You know who's number 1? Jaden frickin' Daniels. He had a 96 PFF grade in that game. That is the greatest thing ever. I love Jaden Daniels. I'm probably going to end up hating him if he ends up being a really good NFC quarterback and everything else, but just because of what he's doing to the Bears, it's just funny. No, for the last 2 weeks, he is by far the highest graded quarterback. Anyways, Malik's 11th. What about big time throw percentage? Where is he under that rubric? He's 21st. That's not super great. Why? Because he's not asked to do anything. That's not to say he didn't make some complete, but let's be completely honest. We massively lowered the bar. Jordan Love throwing a 15-yard pass to Romeo Doubs is not going to have us all sitting there going, holy crap, this guy's a really good quarterback. We only did that because it's Malik. That's the difference. Right? If Caleb Williams made that throw, none of us would be like, oh man, he's going to be good. No, if Bears fans hyped up Caleb for the types of throws that Malik made, we'd be like, bro, every quarterback in the NFL makes that throw, even the crappy ones. So, like you said, it's not about dumping on Malik. It's about looking at things in their proper context. It was a simplified offense. It was a very complex offense. We passed the ball less than just about every team in the NFL. I'll back that. That's through 3 weeks. That'll be on tomorrow's podcast as well. I think we ranked 31st in pass rate. And the bottom line is, again, it was great that we were able to win playing that style of football. It's not even about Malik is good or bad. It's about Malik was good in the style of offense that we played. The problem is that style of offense that makes Malik good is not a style of offense that's going to win you football games. You need to embrace the full offense that Matt LaFleur brings and is capable of employing. And in order to actually do those things, you need a guy like Jordan Love. And that's where you go back. Again, I had mentioned that Clayton had pulled up that clip of Christian Watson streaking down the field wide open. Malik didn't throw it. Did any of us care? Nah, because he found somebody else first down, no big deal. We don't mind. If it's Aaron Rodgers or if it's Jordan Love, we're probably a little bit pissed. Bro, that was a touchdown. We need a guy that's going to see those and throw those. That's the bottom line, right? So, like you said, massive respect for Malik. I'm excited about having him as a backup. It provides that level of comfort that if something does happen, we got a shot. Do I think we'd win with Malik against the Vikings? I don't, but, it's not like I haven't been wrong before. Actually, This year I've been wrong almost about everything. Everything I say is the opposite. It's weird. That's why we're definitely going to lose this week no matter who is our quarterback. I'm just saying. I'm sorry, I have to do that. It's for the betterment of the team. That's my stance on it. That's my position. You can agree or disagree. I think that we need a more comprehensive offense, a modern offense that throws the ball a lot and effectively, not a team that runs the ball more than anybody else and then expects to have success doing that, because that's not a recipe for success. Let's take our second break. We'll come back and hear from Uncle Rico.
Yo, Ryan.
Yo.
It's your uncle, Rico.
What's going on?
What's up, bro?
What up?
Hey, I just wanted to give you a hard time.
Okay.
Because the Packers are, I know what you were talking about, and I know we haven't had any real competition yet, and I know this isn't the postseason, but when you were saying, forget it. If Love goes down, forget it. We might as well go for draft picks. Throw in the towel. Just wanted to tell you, you need to be a little bit more optimistic, Mr. Slip, because we're doing okay, and I'm super happy about it, and it's awesome. And I'm proud of Goody for bringing in Malik when I thought, why is he bringing that guy in? And I'm proud of LaFleur for making a game plan that works. And I'm proud of Willis for doing what needs to be done. And I get a kick out of after the first game even, there's these people like, oh, Love better look out. Okay, all right, whatever. Anyways, it's going well, and I'm happy about it. And go Pack, go. All right, Rico out.
Yeah, I'm with you. I certainly, I don't know. I don't want to sit here and try to get philosophical about stupid stuff, but look, I think that I've presented things fairly. I think it was right to look at the situation with Malik and say it's not looking good. There's nothing wrong with being optimistic and saying I choose to believe. That's fine. I just, if I'm looking at the information and I'm getting it wrong, then I'm getting it wrong. If I'm looking at the information right, but I get it wrong anyways, then I don't know. If that's being pessimistic, then I guess I'm just going to be pessimistic at these, To be fair, I did have Vegas on my side. All right? Nobody thought the Packers are going to win any of those two games. And I did pick the Packers to win, so there you go. I actually made some decent money on that game. Granted, part of that had to do with the fact that news about Jordan Love was breaking, and I knew the line was going to move, or I thought the line was going to move real heavy, so I kind of panicked and bought something, because I was like, I don't want to get in late, and all of a sudden the Packers are the favorite, and I can't bet it, so I jumped in, and then it turns out the line, not only did it not move, but I think it actually moved further in the other direction. I think I got it at 2.5, and it moved to 3 in favor. It doesn't matter. They won either way. But anyways, with that said, like I said, Packers are going to lose. Doesn't matter whether I believe it or not. It needs to be said, because it's everything I say, the opposite happens. So, Uncle Rico, what else you got going on?
Yo, Ryan, it's your uncle, Rico. I forgot something. I haven't been able to super watch many football games. There's been a lot going on, but the new Kickoff really stanks. And I thought from the get-go, after I saw some preseason stuff, that this stanks. And if they kick it into the end zone, I think the ball should come out to the 50. That kind of fixes it for me. No kicking in the end zone. If it rolls in the end zone, that's another thing. But if you kick it into the end zone, lands in the end zone, you start on the 50. That fixes the problem for me. Let's do that. I don't know what you think of that. Maybe that's dumb, but for me, that's good, because this returnless football is just ignorant. Rico out.
Yeah, and again, I immediately predicted that this would happen once I noticed that guys are taken out of the end zone and are getting past the 30 with regularity. So yeah, you have to if you want returns, you have to make some sort of an adjustment that makes it more beneficial to return it than not return it. They thought that they did that by bringing it out to the 30, not realizing how good returners are in the NFL, I guess. I don't know. So some kind of an adjustment needs to be made. You could, if you move where people line up, maybe 5 yards, maybe that would change the calculus. Put the defenders closer to where the guy is receiving it. Or, as you said, move the automatic to the 35 or the 40 or something, just to kind of, it gets stupid because, at some point it's like, holy crap, we're starting at the 40. You might as well just put them in field goal range already. At that point, let's just mandate returns. Like, there's no such thing as a fair catch for kickoffs, unless it goes out of the end zone or whatever. I don't know. Again, I think they came up with something very creative this time, which I appreciate, where it's like, how do we simultaneously reduce concussions while at the same time, hopefully failing, but hopefully increasing returns? I like it. So let's get creative again, go back to the drawing board and figure something out, because, this is a little boring. If we're just going to have no returns, then let's go back to the old way. Because at least then we had like old school football. You got to watch normal looking kickoffs and not this new weird thing that people are doing. I'm just saying, I don't know. Anyways, I'm going to leave it with that. We got a bunch of Nico. We got Randy, Kyle, some other people. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a good one. Bye-bye.